Let me tell y'all something, man. The Travis Scott effect is real with this sneaker right here. This is it's wild that this is the first Mac Attack retro, and the only reason that it's happening is because Travis Scott put the shoe on. That's influence. I want to talk about influencers. That's an influencer right there. What's good, family? You are looking live at another episode of Special Delivery, and today we have a 1984 OG on tap in Nike's Mac Attack. And man, it has been a long time coming for these sneakers. We knew that these joints were gonna get retroed at some point once we saw LeBron James and Travis Scott wearing pairs of these in 2021. And now, y'all, that day is finally here. This shoe is back and it looks really good. And there's a lot more that's actually going to come from this sneaker right here that we'll dive into in today's episode. But before we get into it, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all smash the notification bell so y'all can catch the fire content whenever it comes on this channel. But without further ado, let's get into this unboxing. See what these joints hitting on, man. First of all, you got this little tag, the Rebel, like the OG tag right here. This is interesting. Travis Scott's on it. It's cool. I think it's kind of a corny tagline, I'm not gonna lie to you. But these shoes right here, these joints are actually fire, man. Like this is Nike's Mac Attack in its OG form almost. There are some differences, some key differences here in terms of like the shape and the sizing of it, and some of the logos on it are smaller, but for what it's worth, this is basically that 1984 OG Mac Attack. And you see it comes in these sort of muted gray, black, and white colors, and that's very specific because it was made to sort of rebel against the norm of tennis, where like you had to wear all white sneakers. That's still a thing at Wimbledon. Like you have to wear white sneakers, and this was a shoe that was supposed to rail against that, and you can see it does that with these colors. You got the leather on top right here going almost all the way exclusively through the shoe. You have this this black mesh material on the vamp right here, go up into the laces. This is gray right here with a little bit of gray leather as well. The tongue is sort of an off-white, sort of kind of creamish color. It honestly feels to me like that's made to look like that whole neo-vintage vibe that we've become so used to in sneakers these days. Laces, obviously gray here. You got the Mac Attack checkered box right here, which was a staple of the shoe back in 1984 with that Nike logo on it. The logo was actually much bigger on the original shoe here. You can see it's kind of small, kind of muted there. But then you go to the swoosh right here. You got this black swoosh. You've also got this gray mesh material on both the lateral and the medial side of the sneaker. Go to the back heel, you see you got that Nike logo right there on this sort of back lip on the heel area of the sneaker. This was actually more pronounced on the original sneaker as well. So that's a key difference right there. And then going back, you got this leather heel counter right here. It's black, white midsole, gray bottom on this joint. This is the Mac Attack, man. Like it's not a colorful sneaker, but it really couldn't be back in the day. That's kind of why we only have one retro version of this sneaker. Like this is the only version of this sneaker that truly ever existed. And honestly, man, I think it looks really good. This is a shoe that I feel like probably could have come back a lot sooner. It definitely fits the vibe of today, and I just think this joint is really good. Let's actually get into some of the story and details behind it, because this is a shoe with a really interesting background. So the Mac Attack was made in 1984 as the signature sneaker for John McEnroe, who was the tennis player that everybody knew as like this crybaby, whiny dude. Like think about the way that people think about NBA players today when they're like complaining to the refs. You see like Luka Doncic, for example, every time he thinks he's fouled, it's like, yo, ref, what's going on? Not obviously in that tone, that's Sykes talking, but you get the point. He complains a lot. That was John McEnroe back in the day. And that was something that got on a lot of people's nerves, made him a bad boy of tennis, but it was also something that made him a little bit more marketable than your average tennis player. And Nike thought that they could capitalize on that, and they did that by creating a shoe that sort of rebelled against the popular notion in tennis that you had to wear all white. You had to be this sort of pristine image to be a good tennis player. John McEnroe rebelled against that totally, not only just in these sneakers, but tonally as well. That just wasn't him as a player, and you can see that kind of shine through in these sneakers right here. And the thing about this pair is that since 1984, this is literally the only pair that has ever existed. Like, these shoes, they were never retro, they were never brought back. As good as they were, this was something that just doesn't really exist outside of that 1984 pair to that 2023 pair today. Now, there were a couple of sneakers that did look like these, but it just wasn't the Mac Attack. And this was something that people have been clamoring for a long time. And it wasn't until 2021 where we saw Travis Scott and LeBron James wearing pairs of these sneakers that we knew, yo, there's a real chance the Mac Attack might come back. And now it's back, and we're getting a lot more pairs of these joints. Like, there's a lot more to come from the Mac Attack. Let's talk about that, because it's coming real fast. The Mac Attack is coming in full force in 2023, y'all. It's pretty crazy. So already we know that this summer, matter of fact, this literal week, we are getting the social status Mac Attacks, and that's coming in the silver lining colorway, but there are 3 other colorways that are coming of that sneaker, and that's 4 more colorways that we've ever had of the Mac Attack, I'll tell y'all that. But then the big sell is at the end of the year, sometime in that holiday season, we're also getting the Travis Scott Mac Attack, which, like, I've said before on our channel that I'm not really into that. Like, I think that the thing about the Travis Scott is like, it's kind of boring. It's kind of played out to me. Like, you're just reversing the swoosh at this point, and that doesn't really sell me on anything. It doesn't really make the shoe feel special anymore to me. But the fact that Travis Scott is retroing a Mac Attack or bringing out a Mac Attack and it's his own, like, that's some big time stuff for this sneaker, man. Like, there are going to be a lot of people who are looking for that shoe, and this is a shoe that has not been talked about or retro rather since 1984, literally 4 decades ago. And Travis Scott is putting that shoe on. That's pretty crazy, y'all. That's pretty crazy. And you can believe that after 2023, we're going to see a lot more of the Mac Attack in 2024. I'm sure there will be more colorways, regular colorways of this shoe coming out that people will be able to purchase. You'll probably get your red and whites, your green and whites, you know, the same way that they do like the Dunk and the Air Force One at times. Like, we'll see a lot more of these, but man, I am excited to see what comes for this shoe. It's a classic sneaker, and it's one that we ain't seen in 40 years, y'all. So Nike, please don't mess this up, man. Continue to smoke this thing, because it's really good. But anyway, fam, that's a wrap for this episode of Special Delivery. I'm your boy Sykes, and this is Nike's Mac Attack. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Please. Yeah. Did I say please? Peace. Peace. I'm out.